So here we are, 21st Bee, finally. Now, I've been all over this place. There's too many vendors, but you're one that we absolutely have to see. And it looks like you've really expanded from the first time I saw you.
Yeah, the last time we were just displaying, no products. Yep. So we've come a long way in less than a year.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, introduce yourself and what your position is at 21st Bee.
Okay. So Michael Mahar, 21st Bee. This is our family business, so I'm Mr. Do a little bit of everything. We're a small family company. We've been manufacturing since the 80s, different product lines. So this is kind of right up our alley. We've been doing injection molding since I was a kid.
Okay, so one of the things I want to ask about, most of these are standard Langstroth. I see you've got the
little minis with me,
the matings thing, and you've got an agreement now with Apame, is that right? Let's start there. Let's start with the specialty stuff, and then we'll back up.
Yeah, so we're working with I love the guys over at Apame. So this is their Defender hive, and I didn't know this existed before we were making these frames. This is the size mating frame that I like to personally use in my wood boxes. So some of their customers contacted me and asked if they would fit. Long story short, talking to Arda and Korhan. So them and myself are the only ones that had this available in the States. So if you would like a solid frame in them, you can order them from me. If you would like to use like wax foundation, you can order it from them and get their two-piece frame and use wax in it. So depending on what you want, we're just sending people back and forth to each other to try to make it convenient for the end users and the beekeepers.
So I noticed that your frames, you, unlike anybody else, mark the size of the cells.
That's right.
So this is a 5.4 millimeter?
Correct.
How do you arrive at that for this particular frame?
Just the cell size itself. Well, we did it by just the standard measurements. You know, you go from the outer to the inner wall, divide by 10. So we're doing it the standard measurement way.
But because bees use different size cells for different purposes, specifically in this mating nuke, why 5.4?
We developed it before the nuke. So I was trying to make it more just general purpose, user friendly, and 5.4, it's the industry standard.
Okay, let's go down the line and look at some of your other frames. What are your top sellers right now?
Of course, standard deeps and mediums. This time of year, standard deeps for sure, which that would be the tan frames.
Okay.
So everybody always asks why I don't do them in black. Just for us southern beekeepers, especially towards Arkansas and Texas, the deep south, you can stand these up outside in the sun and they don't get as wet and drippy as fast.
Okay.
And I chose this shade because you can still see very well in the bottoms when you're trying to graft. It still really shows everything you need to see when grafting without having that extra dark color.
Okay.
So these are all color cell size specific. Your standards are always the tan. Your small cell 4.9s are always the yellow. Drones are blue.
Oh, so the color code matches the cell size.
So when you open up your hive, you instantly know what's in there.
Okay. And what about the beeswax foundation that you spray on there?
We built our own custom spraying machine.
Okay.
We actually do not use wax here from the States. We bring it in from Europe.
Okay.
They're a lot more strict about chemical usage. So we're trying to make as clean and as good of a start as we can for the new beekeeper. So if you actually look, they have a kind of a snowy texture. That's in our spraying process.
Oh, okay.
We actually atomize and spray wax. So we actually get it to make little small textured pieces that build up on the cell walls. So instead of the bees having to go in and clean and scoop wax and form it, they can instantly pick it up and just immediately work it.
Wow.
So when you drop a whole box in, you do not add any extra wax to them. Just like this, you'll actually slow them down if you add more because you're destroying that texture.
Okay.
Everybody I've talked to this year who's tried them, no matter what region they're from or bee breed, if there's a good flow, 2 weeks or less, they're fully drawn out and going. We've had people like Bruce at Bruce Bees drop mediums in at the end of the flow. Week and a half later, they're already being capped. They just pull them out so fast.
So Bruce's Bees, that's interesting.
Bruce, Brian at Castle uses them. Having a lot of people really like them.
Castle Hives, Brian. Okay. And what's the most popular?
Standard, of course, the 5.4s.
Standard 5.4s.
Now the small cell, I have that because I'm personally a small cell keeper, and I had to make it available. So we're trying to make everything as flexible as we can to fit everybody's needs. So no matter how you keep your methodologies, wherever you treat, treatment free, all mediums, we have something that you can use in your system.
And so what's your target beekeeper? Backyarders, sideliners?
We're going backyard hobbyists up through bigger sideliners. This isn't really a commercial product because there is a little added weight.
There is a lot of weight, yeah.
So like in a deep 10 frame box, you're adding about 7 pounds.
7, okay.
So commercial people going to almonds, you're not making truck weight.
Right.
So you're talking mid sideliner that has flatbed trucks doing local pollination. That's kind of about as high end as you're going to go.
Is that your number one complaint, maybe, the physical weight of the frames?
That's the one thing everybody talks about.
Okay.
If you pick them up for the first time, they feel like they're 10 pounds because of the muscle memory.
Sure.
But actually in a full box, I mean, it's literally just 5 pounds.
Okay.
But that first time, it throws everybody off.
Okay. And I really love the pass-through holes or ventilation holes. What are you calling those that you've factored in? These penetration openings that are already in here? Mm-hmm. What do you call those?
I just pass-throughs.
Pass-throughs?
Yeah. I was doing my best to mimic what it'd be when actually doing foundation.
It's true, what we find, yeah. And so are people overall really happy? How about any complaints or recommendations for changes, anything?
No, that's, the only thing people ever say is, wish they were a little bit lighter.
Okay.
But the problem is with that, to make them a nice sturdy frame that'll last your lifetime, to get all that flex and twist out, that's just part of it. We have to add a little bit more material. Like for instance, so most standard plastic frames, they have all the high beetle hiding places. This is how much material they use.
Okay.
This entire jar is our medium frame.
Okay.
That's how much reinforcement we're building into it.
Okay.
So, with that comes a little bit of weight just on the downside. But literally, it's, we're talking 5 pounds for 10 frames.
Let's talk about your comb honey frames.
Yeah, so, like a lot of hobby beekeepers, I like to do comb honey, but I'm not commercially selling it. So I just need a little bit at a time. In Arkansas, our flows for comb honey, we might have a good 2-week window, and that's about it. So instead of having big systems with lots of parts and pieces, I'm trying to be as simple as I can. So Kelly used to make an old F-style frame that had a wood wedge on top and a solid bottom, and I love those. And of course that went away. So this is my version where I mold in the starter wedges on all the sides. And then I also space my support bars 4 inches on center.
Nice.
So you can just take a knife and free cut your 4-inch cassette. There is a little extra at the top, so you have the option of leaving a little space for them to build off of, or you can take that strip and make some pieces of chunk honey and throw those in a jar on top. And it's one of those where if you're in a flow like we get, it just dies on you sometimes.
Okay.
You'll make good comb honey for a week and it just dries up.
Right.
So instead of that being a complete waste, I add the pass-throughs and the support bars so you can let them just go and finish it, uncap it, and extract it like any regular super frame. So no matter what, you're going to get a use out of it. It's not just a waste of time on your end.
Okay.
And there's no pieces or parts to lose. You can clean it off, and next season rub a little melted wax back on the starter wedge, put it in, use it again, and year after year you can just keep reusing it.
Okay, my least favorite thing. Are you ready? A frame that's been used for brood for a long time. Now we've got that fibrous old brood comb. What's your recommended method for cleaning it off of your foundation?
So I personally, since I don't have to worry about warping, turkey fryer, boiling water, you can dunk them in there, but you don't have to worry about them not coming out of true.
Really? That's a good question. What's the temperature tolerance of this plastic?
We shoot the parts at 460 degrees. So I have videos where you can take hot capping knives and just lay against it and just slow roll and drag, and you won't even leave a marker scuff.
I did not know that.
You can use some of the steam melting waxers.
Yeah.
You can steam them, power wash, solar melt, scrape.
And it does not impact
whatever's convenient
the fundamental material. Wow. Have you actually done that? Have you cleaned up brood frames that way?
Yep. I've been working on these.
That temperature tolerance is very unusual. How does that compare with some of the other frames? Do you know?
I have no idea what
upper
theirs
limits,
are.
usually they say 160 degrees would start to do something to the plastic with some of the other frames.
Yeah, a lot of times as soon as you hit any kind of boiling temperature, they instantly curl and twist.
Yeah, and these don't do that.
Nope. Yeah, I just full turkey fryer. I just dunk the entire frame, flip it over, dunk the back, and I'm done.
That is interesting.
If it's been years and you have really dark, heavy comb, after you dunk them, you may need to give them a little bristle brush scrub to get the little hard, stubborn pieces out. But I mean, if you have a lot, you're on the bigger end, take a power washer to them, go to town. You can throw them around the yard, beat on them. If you want to take a piece of plywood and put a rod through the center, you can use those pass-through holes to just stack them up, so you can spray them so they won't take off on you.
Wow.
And then throw them over and hit the other side. Make you 2 stacks and just work through them. And so I say everything we do, we try to make it as flexible as we can. But we make multiple product lines, so everything we do is we try to make quality products that'll last long term.
Nice.
So this is kind of our premium in frame. We're not trying to appeal to the whole market, just people that want to make an investment and have something that'll last a long time.
Now I see people's names on these boxes. They made their purchases. They're going to pick them up at the end of the expo, or what's happening? Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing pre-orders. People, we do custom stamping on frames. So we have people that put their area names in it, or their state, business names.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That was great. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, appreciate
really
it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to